Hello, honeys, and welcome to the Sassy Show. It is series 10. Can you bloody believe it? And this series, I have a bunch of very sassy individuals coming to the screen. As always, we're celebrating what makes these individuals the humans that they are, liberating us all to live a more sexually freeing and body positive life. That is the sassy way. So sit back and get ready to hear how our guests have gone on a beautiful journey of unlearning those unhelpful negative thoughts that society just keeps on throwing at us, as well as getting a little bit cheeky about some of those private, deeply secret, sassy conversations. As always, I hope you come away feeling nourished and a little bit more inspired to find out what your sassy side looks like. This is The Sassy Show, and I hope you're ready for a fabulous ride. Right. Hello everyone, it is The Sassy Show. I'm Bethany and today I'm with the beautiful Lola and January. Hey honey.
Hello.
Thank you for coming on The Sassy Show.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's like going in for tea at your granny's house.
It's very polite and British.
You want a shortbread biscuit? So, Lola, I know you from all your many beautiful events that you ran regarding the kink community and your work as Miss Masochist.
Yes.
Ooh la la. And January, you're a publicist. You dip your toes in the creative industry, and we also met at an event that was about non-monogamy. And when I met you two, it turns out these beauties are nesting partners, which led into such a sweet conversation about relationships. And it was one of the reasons I really wanted you on the show. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Again.
So I thought, just to throw ourselves in there, I want to ask you some snappy, sassy questions. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Snorer or silent sleeper?
Okay, well, I think for you, January, you are not a snorer, but a sleep talker.
Yeah. And it's almost every night. Well, at least like when we sleep next to each other. Because it only really happens when I'm like in deep sleep. But apparently, and don't quote me on this, if you sleep talk past the age of like 18 or like 20, you sleep talk for the rest of your life.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So there's like nothing I can do about it, because not that it was getting to a point where it was like debilitating, but I do have that fear if I'm like sleeping next to someone new and I have like a secret, or like I'm not that I keep secrets, but like if I'm like nervous about the connection or something, like my subconscious will like say something out loud.
Like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, I love you.
Oh, that's much nicer actually.
Yeah, but I don't think that that's the way that should be said. But in terms of you, I think that you are, you snore, but not all the time.
No.
Yeah.
And it's not that loud, I don't think.
No, because I hate snoring. But I actually don't mind when you snore. And that's love.
That's love. Gentle snorer.
Gentle snorer, yeah. That's
very
me.
Peaceful. Thanks, guys.
That's okay.
Porn or your imagination?
I say my imagination. Like, I barely watch porn, which I think is very interesting for like who I am. But yeah, I just get really bored watching porn. I prefer to think about things, think about scenarios that I've had in the past. But I do really like audio porn.
Oh, a little erotic.
Yeah.
I love that.
I just like hearing people moan.
Yeah.
ASMR.
Right.
Yeah.
Very gentle.
Maybe this is the start of a new career for me.
Yes. Yes.
Who knows? But yeah, I would agree with you, like imagination all the way. Even though I do sometimes watch porn, I prefer imagination, like relating it to your own experiences. I think I find it quite hard to like maybe imagine myself in that scenario. It's more of probably like a voyeuristic thing. But I don't mind it. It's just porn's great.
A bit of porn.
Yeah. Exactly.
I feel like porn helps me build little scenarios to then use my imagination.
Yeah, ideas.
Yeah.
True. I had a partner who used to do that a lot. She was like, oh, I saw this in this video.
Yeah,
like,
let's try it. Yeah, it's great, eye-opening. Okay, that's beautiful, guys. Keep going. feet? Sassy or nasty?
I would say neither. Can I say neither?
Go on, babe. Go on.
Because honestly, it depends. Like, I feel quite indifferent to feet.
Really? You're not like, oh, put it in my mouth.
No, it's more just like they're there
Yeah.
and they're functional.
They do get us from A to B.
Yeah, exactly.
They do.
Me too.
So I feel like that didn't answer the question.
You're allowed to have a neutral relationship.
Yeah, I feel quite indifferent.
Indifferent. How about you, babe?
I think I'm starting to go on a feet journey, you know? Like, I haven't told you this yet. New
Podcast.
information. But my other partner, we did a little bit of like putting their feet in my mouth. And it was really nice. I really liked it. And then I just recently sold some of my feet pics.
Yeah.
So
That is amazing.
I think sassy now. Yeah, I think
Yes.
it's changed.
Great
Though I
arches.
don't like my feet. Although apparently I have really good arches.
And other people like your feet.
Other
That's
people like my feet, and that's all that
interesting.
matters.
I mean, I am a big foot fetish, and I believe
Is that why you asked this?
100%, just so I can be like, do you also like toes? But honestly, there's no bad foot in my opinion. Every foot has character, and every foot is
And there-
touchable.
Every foot is different. I don't. I
That's
have flat
true.
feet. I don't have
OMG.
arches.
Get out of here. No, I take it back. No. All right. As a duo, PDA or private loving?
I feel like because our relationship trajectory has been quite unusual.
Keep watching.
Get into that later. I feel like when you've had a comfortability with someone for such a long time that maybe didn't immediately develop into this like stereotypical romantic sexual relationship, like being PDA, that kind of like storybook, like cinema romance thing, it feels more intimate rather than like a I want to climb inside you kind of thing, which I feel like a lot of I associate PDA with like these people are just like trying to like eat each other,
Okay, yes, true. There are those like intense maker outers,
which is fine. Which is fine. I think that's hot, and
It's
like
quite
if
hot.
people, but I think I don't even did we ever have NRE, new relationship energy? Like I don't know if we did. I don't know if
You haven't heard of that acronym
I don't-
before.
You've never
have you not?
I've never been in a relationship, guys. No.
I was like, wow. I don't know
no,
if we ever had NRE.
I don't know either.
Probably not.
Probably like at the start.
Yeah,
For like
we're like
a little bit.
like this person.
Yeah.
How do you feel, Lola?
How do I feel? So what is it? PDA or private? In terms of our relationship, yeah, I'd agree. We hold hands and we kiss in public, but I don't really feel like that is PDA. I think that's quite normal for couples to do. And then in other relationships, I'm happy to do PDA or not.
Because I feel like
Don't
there was
have much.
no exhibitionist streak in you two.
Oh, no.
No, I'm not.
I'm
Yeah, you are. I'm not.
like,
No.
I guess
voyeur.
if you're at a
Yes.
yeah, I guess if you're at a play party, then like, yeah, fuck it, go for it. And I love when people watch me, but if it's just like in normal day life, then I'm
Going down to the shops kind of thing.
I like cool, but it doesn't do anything for me. Like play parties do.
Yeah, different context. You mentioned just then, January, that you didn't have a conventional start to a relationship. So I want to know a bit more, like, how has your trajectory been? How would you describe nesting partners? And when did you first meet? Give us the love story.
Wow. Love story. Okay, so we met because we were dating the same person. So
Yeah, we had the same partner.
Yeah, so we were metamors, and metamor is when you date the same partner. And then we started dating, but I mean, I guess our first meet was at E&M drinks, ethical non-monogamy drinks. And yeah, we didn't really talk much then.
No.
But then one of our mutual friends invited us to crossbreed, and we all went together, and that was a bit, I don't know, I felt a bit nervous.
Yeah, because it was quite funny because we both had separate conversations with our mutual partner, about potentially getting with the other person at the party, like hypothetically. So to our mutual partner, we were like, so hypothetically, if I was to get with Lola January, how would you feel about that?
Cute.
And they were like, oh, like, yeah, sure, like we could talk about it.
I think we were in the smoking area, and then I was like, I really want to try the Sibian. And then January was
can we
like,
just have a little,
Yes.
what is a Sibian?
Sibian.
It's a seat that vibrates, basically.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh,
in a
that's
very
beautiful.
pleasurable way.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I was like to January, should we just like go see what it's like? And
Should we, hey, maybe see what the Sibian's like?
And then we were both on the Sibian just watching each other and not kissing for like 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, guys.
I think it was probably because of this, like the looming thing of like, oh, we share the same partner, and that definitely was I don't want to call it a roadblock, but it was a bit of a wedge in between. Like, I don't know, we'd hang out and go on dates and stuff, but it would all be very like, I don't, and not in a like a queer panic way.
Just like a PG way.
It was just in a way of like, oh, out of respect for the mutual partner we have, should we do this? But then we did it anyway. So.
Yeah, we did it anyway. And then so we were dating, and then I broke up, or like me and the mutual partner broke up, and then we had a conversation about whether we should continue dating, because it was quite a messy breakup, and I think that's really difficult if like the mutual partner is feeling all these feelings about the breakup, and then January's still dating me. Like, I think that would have just felt a bit strange for all of us, so we took a pause. But then I think our relationship just got closer from then on.
I think so, yeah.
And then it was like romantic. Like we've texted every day since we've known each other.
Yeah, true. Which has been like 3 years.
Yeah.
And
That's
really sweet.
Yeah, and so it just like grew into this really close friendship. But then it was kind of romantic, and we'd have sleepovers and cuddle and kiss. But yeah, and then I don't know, I needed someone to move into my house.
Yeah.
And you were wanting to move out of your place.
Yeah, and then moved in.
Yeah.
And then we would have group parties together, because I'm a very like black and white person, autism, and I sometimes I really struggle to see the grey in a situation, especially when it comes to relationships. So either I'm like, this is a fully fledged relationship, or this is not, which is ironic as a polyamorous person. But I'm learning. But the other thing I was saying was that I went through 3 breakups last year with long-term partners,
and you broke up with the mutual partner.
Yeah,
so I think that made it more space for us as well.
Yeah, exactly. And like, so that it helped, but then also I was like calling myself single, but then like we had established even before like I moved in that we were going to call each other nesting partners, given the fact that how enmeshed we were in each other's lives and how much we like emotionally like relied on each other. But I was like, oh, but I'm single. And then we had a conversation, like a relationship check-in. Like, how ironic is this that I was thinking to myself that I was single, but we were literally having like relationship check-ins. And then Lola was like, what did you say? You were like, oh, I don't like the fact that you call yourself single.
Yeah, it's like, where does this leave me in this
and
situation?
like, what is this partnership? Like, what does that mean to you? And I said, oh, well, actually, I've been thinking about this a lot. And then I went on this whole spiel about how I think I felt really burnt and jaded with polyamory. Because I feel like if you've been doing polyamory for quite a long time, like I've been doing it for like 5 years, you feel like you know everything. And then the jaded stuff happens and you're like, oh, is this actually for me? Like, maybe I want a more closed off relationship and just like sleep with other people. Maybe that will give me the security that I need. But it's not about that. It's like about the people that you're in made me realize that like I didn't need to define it by all these things that I was defining it by, and I could just kind of lean into what actually already existed. Yeah, which is like really nice. But I don't blame myself for feeling that way, because 3 breakups is horrible. Yeah, it was horrible. But now we're in like stereotypical, not even stereotypical because we're polyamorous, but like we're in like a more publicly accepted.
I don't know. Yeah, I think what am I trying to say? I think it's like established now, and it's not. I think before we were like, oh yeah, nesting partners, but what does that actually mean? And now we've been able to actually define it and live it, you know. Yeah.
You talked about quite a few different groups and places and people that you've been amongst in community where you might have met to start with, right, and then gone into like making friends, let's say. How do you think that's helped shape your approach and how fulfilled you are in your own relationship and being able to decide to have multiple partners and have this level of communication and understanding of what's possible?
I think we have a really similar view on polyamory and about communication and values, and I think the 3 years knowing each other and meeting other people and going through other relationships, and just like we were talking about it the other day, like just getting frustrated at other people about how they communicate or how they show up, and noticing in each other that we do that for each other, you know, the things that we were lacking in other relationships. I think I had like 2 or 3 partners last year or the year before, and I think I said to you, like, you're the person that shows up for me the most. So it's like noticing, and obviously I have good partners and good friendships, but I think going through the 3 years that we've known each other, meeting people that we don't necessarily gel with has made it not easier, but like to notice the qualities that we want in our relationship.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's just kind of like, it's like the way that people do polyamory is so like vast and far reaching and stuff, and like everyone that you come across, I mean, at least I do, like I relate it to my own experience. But yeah, I think it just made me realize how great our relationship is, or in the context of like what we want from polyamory and the way that we do it. I don't know if that answered the question.
I think it answered the question, honeys. Do you feel like it's helped you embrace these different sides of yourselves as well? Because I think when we do think about relationships, sometimes we can latch onto another human and they become our identity, right? And when you're sharing and distributing your energy, and also, you know, the time you have on your own, right? Has it helped you be more yourself, having multiple partners?
Yeah, yes. I would say so. Like, when I was at the beginning of this journey of polyamory, I remember having really candid conversations with my sister about it, and she was like, I've never seen you so like happy, and like other friends were saying that to me as well, because I think I used to, when I was monogamous, I used to expect so much from one person, and like putting them on this pedestal and expecting this level of effort that they could like it's not human to like give that amount of effort that I was expecting. And it's really taught me that relationships, like, you should be in one because you want to, not because you have to. And I always say that to my mum when she's like, I don't know, got insecurities about the way that I live my life. I'm like, I'm consciously choosing to be with the people that I want to be with, not because anyone's expecting me to like do this, or I have a scarcity mindset. I feel like a lot of monogamous people stay in relationships because they don't want to be single and they don't recognize what they deserve. And it's like, I always say this, there's 8 billion people on this planet. Like, if someone wanted to, they would, like, you know. So yeah, it has definitely allowed me to, I guess, like, be kinder to myself and know that what I'm asking for isn't too much, because different people like give me different things. And that's really nice.
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, I'm not from England. I'm from New Zealand.
Surprise!
Woo, surprise! Some people don't catch the accent, which I think is hilarious. But I came here like 8 years ago, and I was monogamous for about 3 of them, and I was planning on moving back to New Zealand. I was just like, I'm not making any friends. I think I had one friend at the time for like one like a proper friend for like the 3 years that I'd been here. And I was like, why don't people like me? Like, I just don't get it. And then I met someone who was openly polyamorous, and I'd kind of dabbled in non-monogamy beforehand, but it really just them being like, yeah, I'm polyamorous and I live with a partner. I was like, wow, like, you can do that. And then that's when everything kind of opened up for me, and I went from having 0 friends to all the friends and all the partners. And you can't, when you first start polyamory, you kind of just go all in. And now I've leveled out a bit. But I would say, like, yeah, having multiple partners or like close friendships has definitely made me feel more like myself. And I think each year I just keep becoming more confident. And I think that's with choosing, like, going through a path where, like, I'll meet people that might not actually fit, or like I'll learn something about myself. It might not be the most positive relationship, but what comes out of it is like learning what I do and don't want. And I have friends that I will go to kink parties with. I have friends that I'll do blood play with. I have friends that I will go hiking with, or this, and they're all kind of like polyamorous, or like we have like different deeper connections, and you just couldn't do that if you were monogamous, probably. But
I agree with you. I do.
But also I would say that, like, almost a downside of polyamory is, so I think when you have multiple relationships, you can sometimes let things slide, because you're like, oh, well, this person's giving me this, so I don't need this from that person. And then you get into partnerships because you're like, okay, well, yeah, this person gives me this, I'll call it a partner. But is it really a partner, or is it just someone that you do this one thing with? And then I would say that it's hard to form deep connections with, if you have like 4 or 5 partners, how do you have time to see all of them? How do you have time to form deep connections? So sometimes it can be quite surface level if you're not thinking about the intentionality, or like what you actually want out of it. So yeah, that's what I'd say about that.
I think it's brought 2 things into my mind. One is how, when there are those, and not to shit on anyone who's monogamous, but no, but I think when we're focusing on this nuclear family, say like a network, you do put a lot of pressure on the other person. You're right, like, you don't allow yourself to build these incredible relationships and experiences with multiple people. But yeah, it's also just recognizing where you're at, what your capacity is, right? And what you want from those engagements. Like, I can imagine if you have a partner who doesn't like going to kink parties, and you can find someone who does, that might be the context of that other partner. But you still feel a lot of care for each other, but you're not having all the emotional support that maybe you would give and share with the other person at home. But this is all very hypothetical for me, guys, because I'm not with anyone, innit? So the dream, pretty much. The dream is to my left. We're moving from personal to professional for a second. Ooh, baby.
Get on my shirt.
Yeah, no, let's take it all off. So I'll start with you, actually, Lola. I was wondering if you could tell me a bit more about Lucid, which is one of the events that you run. It's a sober party. You do socials, meetups. It feels very friendly to people from any point on their journey in regards to kink. And as someone who loves watching you online, Miss Masochist, I mean, honestly, it's art, what you're up to and how you present it. And could you tell us a bit more about, your journey?
Yeah, sure. So Lucid is a sober, social and kink party. I started it. It's nearly a year old. It'll be a year in July.
Happy
I think.
birthday.
Yay! And I started it because I was starting my sober from alcohol journey, and I'd done like dry January, sober October. And
I've never heard of that one. Sober October.
That's nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, actually, I did Stoptober, which is ridiculous. I did no caffeine, no alcohol, no crisps, no
crisps,
cigarettes.
Okay,
It was a lot.
Get me. Yeah.
It was a lot. Yeah. Anyway, and I'd be going to parties and socials and kink parties quite a lot, and I would always find myself drinking, or like I'd go with the intention of like not having a lot, and then just being like, oh, I'll just have one beer, and then I'll have like 4 beers, and then I'd kiss someone that I didn't want to kiss, or I'd even take someone home that I didn't really want to take home, and kind of finding that quite jarring or just upsetting. That was like, if I wasn't drinking alcohol, this probably wouldn't have happened. And then just realizing that there was no sober space for people. And January's sober as well, my other partner's sober, and I have good friends that are sober, and so I wanted to create a space for them, and then also for myself, as an excuse of like, okay, well, you're creating this sober thing, you can't drink, so there we go. Like,
but you can still have fun.
Yeah, we can still have fun. And I have like, the first party was amazing. And I always find in these sober situations, or like sober parties that I run, is that people tend to play a lot faster than if, or like, they get into it.
Yeah.
Because there's, you're not like waiting for a specific point of like, oh, I'll have a couple drinks and then I'll feel kind of
warmed up.
Yeah, warmed up.
Loosey.
But there's no like, this is the level that you're going to be the whole night, so you may as well get into it. And I find that it's so much. I mean, sober sex I think is a lot better than non-sober sex, and there is a greater communication, there's greater there's more check-ins, consent focused, and it requires you to be, I think it's more playful as well, and you feel more of your, like, in your body and present. Yeah,
that's what I was about to say, because I was sober for 6 years, and I do think when you're drunk or on something else, you're slightly out of your body, right? You're somewhere up here, but when you're sober, you really do feel a bit more rooted. And I think that's quite a steady place to be in.
Yeah, and I think I've been getting more into harder kinks, and I wanted a space for people who were able to do that, and I don't think that it's safe to be doing those harder kinks with drugs and alcohol. So I wanted to have that space for people to explore that, and I'm trained as a safeguarder, also trained with like blood play and sharps play, so I could run a space that has those things available.
Which is usually the two things that are not allowed at parties because it's messy. But I was wondering, would alcohol also impact blood in general?
Yeah, because it makes you bleed.
Right.
Yeah. So like drugs with impact, most drugs can lower your fear response. Right. So you're not scared about the impact, and then others can have a higher tolerance of pain because of what the drugs are doing in your body. So it can be very dangerous.
I was thinking about how for a lot of people being able to get to a place of slight more numbness means that they'll enjoy the pain more because they're like, oh, I can be caned harder when I've had a few drinks. And I get that sometimes we do want that endurance feeling. We want to feel like we've been able to push ourselves to a new limit. But I just think that to look after our body, maybe it would be better to do it not numbing yourself.
Yeah, and I think like a lot of people that I've been playing with or talking about impact with recently is like it's not about how hard you can take it. It's not about being the person with the highest pain tolerance. It's about the journey of it, and if that what you're doing causes you pain, then you've done it. Like you're doing the impact. You're reaching that kind of potential. I get the pushing yourself because I have done that as well. But yeah, it's an interesting one to think about, and the psychology about it. Yeah.
Because sometimes we can create more dynamic in what we don't do.
I have done 3 so far. And yeah, I've got a Flinter only one coming up soon, which I'm very excited about.
If people don't know what Flinter is. Frau something.
Frau, lesbian, intersex, trans,
non-binary, agender.
I spelt that the wrong way.
I know, we got like a Flitner, which sounds more German somehow.
Yeah. And then I'm also collabing with Kink, which is a party for neurodivergent people. So I think it really like gels well with the soberness. And then I've got another party coming up in September. I think that's going to be quite like a normal-ish one that I usually do. And then can I talk about the other one?
Yeah. Can I say a little intersection?
Yes.
I really like hearing how you're talking about coming and feeling quite alone with this sort of one friend here. So now, you know, planning so many events, bringing so many people together, making sure no one does feel that same way, right, that they're on their own. And I know you have another excellent thing in store. What is it?
Yes, I do. So obviously, not obviously, but there are parties in London like Riot and Quench and Joyride, which are all amazing.
Love over here.
Check them out if you haven't. But they're all at clubs where they need to reach a bar spend, and by bar spend they spend alcohol. They buy alcohol because alcohol is more expensive, and because the majority of people drink, right? And so I wanted to create something similar, but have it be sober. I was like, how am I going to do that? Because it's hard enough finding a venue that allows everything like this. And then the overheads are just insane. And then minimum bar spend. So Quench has done 2 parties at this venue. One was the wedding venue party, if anyone went, and then the second one was the Unruly collab. It is a space that has no bar, which is amazing. And yeah, I'm going to be hosting a Lucid there with DJs and potentially some cabaret acts. And it's going to have a playroom, and it's going to be completely vetted and completely sober.
Damn. So this is going to feel like one of the biggest events that you.
It'll be the biggest one. So yeah, I've done I think my largest has been 40 people, but this venue can hold probably around 200 to 300, so it's scary.
It's like a lucid wedding for itself, you know.
Yeah, I think people are interested and people want a space like that, and it's going to be a day party. Who doesn't love a day party?
I love a day party.
Yeah,
it's a game changer.
Yeah,
beautiful. I feel like anyone who is able to put on events in London, as you mentioned, like venue cost, bar spend, it's tough. So I'm very grateful for you putting all this energy and effort in to bring people together. Sober.
Yay, sober fun. So that is the 29th of November.
Put it in your diary. No excuses.
This is the soft launch right now.
Soft launch.
No, it's a hard launch.
Hard launch? Soft launch? I don't know.
And then there'll be an extra hard launch.
Yeah.
Extra
hard launch.
Oh my God. January, what about you? We've heard about Lola's beautiful work, and I'm wondering how you fit into this mix.
So I'm a publicist, and I've been doing that for a ridiculously long time. I started doing it when I was like 17.
Oh my gosh.
Because I wanted to make it in the music industry, and it was incredibly difficult, and I knew it was going to be incredibly difficult.
As a performer?
No, as a publicist.
Oh, as a publicist in music.
So for anyone that doesn't know what a publicist is, because a lot of people don't, it's basically being in charge of the way that something is communicated to the public. So I could work with, I don't know, like an artist or a band or like a product. And yeah, I've been doing that in various different industries, all in like the creative industry. And it's quite funny because we always joke that when Lola makes it big, whatever that means, I will exactly I will be your publicist.
Hey.
And I kind of do already like low-key PR you.
Yeah, low-key.
Low-key do the comms.
So you're raising people up. You're sort of saying this is so what happened with the music?
It was horrible. It was awful.
The industry.
Yeah. I was going to say would not recommend. I don't know the state of it now, but I feel like for the rhetoric for the past like 5 years has been the absolute state of the music industry. Everyone's low paid, overworked. Everyone's gaslighting everyone. It's just like quite unhealthy, but you have to really love it to do it.
Okay.
And now I realise I think it just wasn't the right environment for me. Like I love being a publicist. I love like meeting new people and being like super creative and getting paid to do that. But it was all the things around it. The environment was just super toxic and kind of bro-y, and also like no one was sober, and that was quite a difficult conversation to have with people. And I was actually, so I've been sober for 1.5 years now, but before that it was kind of like a slow burn to sobriety, and it was quite difficult having conversations with people in music when I like at a meeting and I didn't want to drink. And sometimes people were doing drugs in meetings at like 12 p.m. on a Tuesday.
OMG.
I feel like I'm very close to this mic.
Well, I feel like this is the thing you always hear happens. Drugs.
Yeah, so
drugs.
if you have this idea of what you think the music industry is like, it is like that. It is like that, but worse, and like kind of stinky. And kind of stinky. I remember one meeting I had where we were at the pub, because that's like where you have all your meetings in the music industry. You're at the pub, and a manager was like, "Oh, so how long have you been like off the wagon?" And I was like, or on the wagon. What is the saying? I don't know. Like, there's a wagon. I was thinking to myself, like, what if I had this like deeply traumatic story that I didn't want to, and like thankfully I don't, but what if I did? And it was just wild. So yeah, it just wasn't for me. Was signed off work, and now I'm in an industry which I really love, and it's very like boundaried and feels very like uplifting and supportive, and I'm really grateful for that. Because I felt like I was thinking, oh, maybe PR isn't for me, like maybe comms isn't for me, but I think it was just the industry that I worked in, and it served me for my early 20s and like my late teens, but I am almost 30 and I want boundaries and a good salary and a like nice future for future me.
Yes. So. Yeah. What do you think is a bit of a myth that you'd like to bust in your industry? If people are thinking about getting into PR, doing communications? Comms. Comms. Yeah.
I would say that it is not glamorous. Everyone thinks that it is. Like it depends on what industry you're working in, but working in like the creative arts industry, you meet a lot of celebrities. You work a lot of events, but I am very numb to all of this. Like I don't care about stuff like that. And I guess maybe this is the second time I'm mentioning autism. Maybe autism has got something to do with that. Just don't like the performativity of it. But whenever I tell people what I do, they're like, wow, that sounds so glamorous. And yeah, it is really interesting. And I have like all these like fun things that I do. But it's a lot of working weird hours, weekends, overtime, constantly being on as well, because you, especially when you're doing events, you don't know what's going to happen, and so you're always, it's like kind of like what, like, I mean, it is what you do about when you're like managing an event or you're working in an event, you don't know what's, like, anything could happen, so you have to be on like really high alert, and that can be quite exhausting, like the following day, or even like the weeks following that. So if you've got a promo cycle, that's very industry term, so if like you're working on something and it's being released to the public, you might have a window where someone that you're working with is doing lots of interviews and events. Sometimes that can be like 2 to 3 weeks of just being out all the time. Maybe you're not eating at the normal times, and your body's just, and also I have an autoimmune condition as well, so that coming into play is like quite a lot to think about. So yeah, it's just a lot more than that's on the surface. And I understand why people feel like that, because the job is literally communicating to the public about something, but people just don't understand like the behind the scenes element and like everything that goes into it.
A very close person in my life is in comms, and I've never seen them get so stressed in their life. Like, it is on all the time. And you'll think, like, I think about it all the time. Like, I'm always in kind of PR mode, which is quite nice sometimes, because I'm like, oh, that would be an amazing idea for a campaign. Like, that's true.
This would be great for this. Oh, I need to like write. You'll like stumble across a magazine or a TV show, and you're like literally. I was at a hospital appointment this week for my autoimmune stuff, and on the TV was this like new daytime show on Channel 5, and I was like, when did this come out? Oh my god, this would be so great for loads of stuff that I'm working on. And I'm like, you are not working right now.
Bless you. I'm focusing on me.
Yeah, it's just like moments like that. I'm like, oh, like, yeah, that would be amazing for this.
How do you both switch off when we're living these busy lives, or you're running an event?
We don't.
I mean, we both do yoga.
Yeah, we love yoga.
I think I've been going to like healing sound baths, which I need to take you to. It's been really good to switch off. Need to start getting into running again. I think cooking switches me off as well. Like, it doesn't, I think what I thought switching off or resting was literally like, you know, lying down, closing my eyes and not thinking about anything. And I just can't do that. I just can't. It's constant. I wake up in the morning and I think about everything that I need to do. But finding moments in your daylight, like, what is it, mindfulness. I think mindfulness is the best way to like learn how to relax or switch off. So like cooking, walking dogs, going to yoga, that's what helps me switch off.
I find that implementing boundaries has really helped. So my word of the year last year was adventure, and this year it's boundaries.
Very different.
Yeah, exactly. But it's worked. Like, yeah, what you say, it's like implementing those bits of mindfulness throughout like your schedule, making sure you have me days. Like, that is so important. I have at least like 3 a week, whereas before when I had like 3 partners, like, no, like could not do that. And yeah, like I kind of have this same thing that you have, where I can't really switch off. Like, yoga's the only thing really where I feel like I can meditate. I'm quite spiritual as well. I use that to really like center and focus myself. Have a lot of hobbies. as well.
Good. Hobbies are good. It's things to like take us out of that.
And it's also only beneficial for you.
Yeah.
Which I love. I love that.
Even, you don't even have to finish the pot that you're pottering on.
Exactly.
You're just doing it.
Yeah.
Talking of doing, this is a section of the Sassy Show where I ask you to pose.
Oh my gosh.
It's Sassy pose time. Okay. So,
I'll uncross my legs.
I want us to get to know a bit more about who you are in the way that you present yourselves. Because, we live in this very social media world, but we're meeting the people behind the pictures, right? So, what pose would you be seen in if a newbie on Instagram just stumbled across your page? This for Lola, this is the one that I'm just excited about. Oh, sorry, January. You might also have very exciting.
I don't have Instagram.
That's what I thought, yeah. So hypothetically.
So I'm like, hypothetically.
It would be a hidden pose,
So what was the question again? Sorry. So what?
Pull a pose of how you would be seen for a newbie who stumbled across your Instagram.
Oh, gosh.
I feel like we need a prop for you.
I'd have to like take this off.
Take it off. Okay, so you'd be more top three.
I'd be like, would I be like this? Just like come to my page.
Ooh, seductive.
Yeah, seductive. I think.
This is January's non-existent.
Oh my god, yeah, I'll just leave.
Bye.
Well, I have accounts where I lurk for tattoo artists because finding tattoo artists otherwise is really hard.
Yeah.
So
it's
I
just
would
like
be here but a bit invisible.
Would you be one of those
like
users that's like J1235
basically,
with no followers and no posts?
Yeah.
So you're not all bad. That's good to know.
True.
Some of you out there for the tattoos.
The bots are okay.
What would be your pose if you're looking at someone who's sexy across the dance floor?
I'd be like this.
Is that a little heart?
Yeah, it's a little heart.
I'd be like this.
Which means
that is so
let's
smart.
Let's kiss. That's beautiful. That's new. Is that new?
Yeah, it's new.
Fresh.
Lily did it.
Lily
What's
Pokes.
Lily Pokes.
Lil Pokes at Lil Pokes.
Shout out. Who I think has given you a few of these.
Yeah, these two. And
we have matching tattoos.
We've got matching tattoos.
Yeah.
186.
Yeah.
What's the? Can we know the reference?
It's where we live.
It's in each other.
There are multiple 186s in London.
Oh yeah.
We are moving very soon. We'll be.
It is myth busting time. Myth busting time. Okay, how would you like to change the way society views relationships and sexuality?
Wow, what a big question. What a big question.
I have an answer.
You have an answer?
Yeah,
Great, go for it.
So with sexuality, I feel like a lot of people have shame around sex. So I would love people to be very unapologetic about their wants, needs, desires, and not shame people for freely expressing and living their truth. Because it's like, if people are happy and it's not bothering you, why are you bothered?
Right.
Yeah.
Why are you bothered?
And then with relationships,
Why are they bothered?
Why are they bothered? I don't understand.
because they're bored and they don't have hobbies
Yeah,
or
they need
interests.
more hobbies.
Yeah, they do.
A fear. I think it is a fear
Yeah.
of maybe not understanding.
Fear of
and
the
then
unknown. Yeah.
For sure.
Education. Like that. Sorry, now I'm butting in
No,
because
go
I've
for
thought
it.
of something. I think, we need more education in schools around sex education, relationships, how there's different ones and different, you don't have to, go on that relationship escalator. Need more role models, not role models, but examples of like
visibility,
representation.
Because when you mentioned before you became sober, this idea of having a few drinks and then maybe bringing someone home, and you have these slightly regrettable experiences, and I feel like the trajectory for most people with sex, if you're feeling that pressure to be active, which most of us might feel, especially when you're younger, even older, you do compromise, and maybe you go through a lot of experiences. I know I have, where I'm like, that was not fulfilling. I could definitely have given that one a miss, but we have this weird idea that if you're wanted by others and if you're busy sexually, then you're I don't know, deemed more worthy, or you have more value.
I was going to say that in relation to relationships, the thing I would want to change is that relationships should like benefit your life, and you should like want things or aspire to things, not for it to like fill a gap in your life. Like you should already feel complete and whole and happy with yourself, and not seek that in someone else. And I've been victim to that, like don't get me wrong, but as I've gotten older and like what polyamory has taught me, because I can be in relationships with multiple people who bring me different things, it's like people should illuminate your life and bring in new things rather than what you're lacking, because in the words of RuPaul, if you don't love yourself, how are you going to love someone else?
I think what we were talking about this morning is also like relationships shouldn't be difficult.
Yeah, they shouldn't.
I think mean that they won't have challenges.
Yeah, of course.
No, of course.
We've had so many challenges like in our relationship, but the communication around them has maybe been a bit tense, but it's not debilitating. Like, it shouldn't have to feel like that.
Yeah, and like when you were talking, I was thinking about like the representation that we have with relationships and the TV shows, or like Disney, or you know, all this kind of stuff of like, you know, you've got that push and pull, and then someone eventually gives in, and we're shown that so much. We're not shown that you can be calm and have conversations, and nothing. It doesn't have to turn into an argument. Like you can be confrontational, because I think I'm good with confrontation, but I'm not aggressive. I don't get angry. I talk through things quite calmly, and that's not really shown like anywhere.
In fact, I think you're the first person to ever say I'm quite good with confrontation.
I was going to say Lola wouldn't be in a relationship with me if they couldn't deal with confrontation. You're completely right.
That's also your approach, I guess.
I think this is why we work so well together, because we're so direct. We address things almost immediately, or if not, we give a time frame, or we're like, we'll talk about this tomorrow, and that's just even like in general, like discussions that we need to have. Cannot cope with people who don't like confrontation, and because it's like it needs to, and it's not confrontation in like a necessarily aggressive way, it's just confronting a issue that you need to talk about,
rather than letting it be this like, oh my god, you did this, and oh my god, and you're right, we are sold drama as love rather than peace and respect and communication, which I feel really is the soul of a loving relationship. It's been a very gentle episode. I've really enjoyed this pace today. We've got a nice essence and feeling of who you both are. The communication, I'm really going to take that on board. If people want to follow your work, my honey, where do they need to go?
Yeah, so on Instagram it's at miss_masochist_, and then I've got Lucid, I think it's at Lucid_sober_events.
Yes. It'll all be linked. It will be linked.
I do have a book club as well, just to throw that in there.
The book club is really great.
E&M Book Club.
Yay.
Also on Instagram.
Gorgeous.
I will send you that one, because I can't remember it off the top of my head.
I love that. See, thank you so much for all you do, and
thank you.
All you've shared. And it's been a very sassy time. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Let's have a hug. Group hug. Oh.
Sorry.
Move this. Thank you.
That was so lovely.
If you enjoyed this episode of The Sassy Show, then be sure to dip into our archives, because, honey, we've got 100+ episodes just waiting for you to absorb. Find us on all major streaming platforms, The Sassy Show. We're on Instagram and TikTok at _The Sassy Show. And I have been your host, Bethany, aka BxSassy. And you can also subscribe to my very special Sassy newsletter over on Substack, BxSassy. As always, I would love to hear what your thoughts are in response to some of these conversations. How has it felt for you to dip into your sassy side? Are you wanting to become more liberated? Maybe it's just about time that you took that first step and went to the kink party. Spread the sassy word with me, babies.